Envision, if you dare, an amusement park that time itself seems to have forgotten. A place once filled with jubilant laughter and merriment now lay silent. An undisturbed rest has taken over its once bustling atmosphere. This amusement park, previously a flourishing utopia of exhilaration and amusement, now stands abandoned and overlooked, akin to an old, forsaken toy. It used to be a thriving nucleus of life, reverberating with the infectious sounds of children's laughter, the thrilled screams on roller coasters, and the enchanting melodic tunes from the carousel. As you draw nearer, your attention is captured by an overwhelming veil of ivy and moss, aggressively wrestling for dominance over the decaying wooden boards, which groan and creak under the relentless pressure of time. A chilling wind rustles through the leafless trees, filling the air with an eerie symphony of whispers and sighs, as if the park itself is crying out for its lost glory. The Ferris wheel, once radiating joy, now stands as a rusted, monstrous monument of a past long forgotten. The once vibrantly painted cabins hang precariously, groaning and creaking under the relentless assault of the bitter, biting wind. The moss and ivy have ruthlessly claimed the roller coaster tracks. This twisted green and brown tapestry weaves its way through the silent, ghostly park. The merry-go-round, with its once polished horses now appearing as spectral apparitions, sits quietly in the heart of this desolate park. It serves as an eerie reminder of the infectious laughter and joy it once stirred in the hearts of its riders. A cursory glance at the park entrance reveals a once brightly lit neon sign, now desolate, its colors faded and peeling. The sign, which once proudly displayed thrills and chills, currently stands as a haunting testament to the park's former glory. Its flickering light valiantly battles against the encroaching darkness, casting long, sinister shadows that dance and twirl in a macabre ballet amongst the abandoned attractions. Scattered around, remnants of the park's joyous past dot the landscape. A half-eaten cotton candy stick, a lost teddy bear, a forgotten ticket stub. Each one is a mournful relic, silently narrating tales of joy, laughter, and innocence consumed by the ravages of time. The park itself seems stuck in a time loop, replaying its glory days, yet a never-ending nightmare of desolation. In this desolate landscape, the Hellbound Carousel stands out, a chilling symbol of the park's erstwhile vibrancy. This carousel, unlike any other, is a sinister relic of its vibrant past and a powerful reminder of the relentless, unforgiving march of time. The chilling wind howls through the carousel, turning its frozen horses and making the entire structure creak and groan, as if echoing the sorrow of the forgotten amusement park. The Hellbound Carousel, a once gleaming symbol of joy, now a chilling monument of rust and neglect, serves as a stark reminder of the fleeting nature of time and joy. It stands ominously over the ghostly landscape of the abandoned amusement park, its once vibrant colors bleached by the harsh hands of time, its jubilant laughter replaced by the icy touch of silence and despair. Its monstrous size, once a beacon of thrill and excitement, now shrouded in shadows that paint a gloomy canvas over the desolate park. The once immaculate paintwork, a kaleidoscope of colors that danced and gleamed under the sunlight, now sits chipped and faded, narrating a poignant tale of neglect and oblivion. The once spinning platform, now creaking and groaning under the weight of years, has become a stage for a haunting spectacle that unnerves the bravest of hearts. The eerie melody it croons is no longer a joyous tune, but a melancholic dirge, played on an unseen organ with keys of despair. Each note seems to hang in the crisp night air like a ghostly wisp, a chilling lullaby that adds to the palpable dread cloaking the barren landscape. Grotesque figures of horses, once majestic and elegant in their intricately crafted details, now stand as disfigured caricatures. Their once sleek coats, painstakingly hand-painted with a myriad of hues, are now marred by cracked paint and scattered rust, a cruel testament to the merciless onslaught of time and neglect. They are frozen in a perpetual gallop of terror, their once lively eyes reduced to hollow sockets that reflect the moonlight's spectral gleam. The once shimmering golden poles that held them aloft are now corroded spikes of iron, a grotesque mockery of their former grandeur. Whispers of the carousel's ghostly operation seeped through the town like an insidious fog. The locals speak in hushed voices of the spectral light that emanates from the carousel every stroke of midnight. They talk of the otherworldly music that fills the air, a chilling symphony of despair that resonates with every spin of the platform, the phantasmagoric horses that move despite their rusted bonds, and the spectral laughter that fills the air, as if the carousel stirs to life, awakened by some unseen force. And then, one fateful night, the Hellbound Carousel malfunctioned. The spectral lights flickered and died, the haunting melody stumbled into an eerie silence, and the ghostly horses stood still, trapped in their endless gallop of horror. The once bustling town was plunged into an oppressive silence as the chilling echo of the carousel's catastrophic failure reverberated through the desolate park, adding another eerie chapter to its haunting legend. As the clock struck midnight, the carousel sprung to life, not with a jubilant jingle, but with a jarring metallic moan, announcing its monstrous mutation. The sudden metamorphosis was all too palpable, a violent surge of unseen energy pulsating from the carousel's dark heart and rippling out across the abandoned landscape. Shrouded in the hushed stillness of the midnight hour, the once jubilant and vibrant ride embarked on a horrifying transformation. The music, which was once a melodious track of cheerful tunes, distorted and contorted. The lively rhythmic notes stretched and twisted, morphing into an eerie dirge that echoed ominously across the deserted park. What was once a symphony of joy and laughter was now a chilling, phantom-like echo, slowed and warped into a disturbing drawl. It clung to the cold night air, a relentless harbinger of terror that chilled the blood and crept under your skin. Then came the lights. Gone were the gentle, welcoming glows that once invited mirth merrymaking. Now they flickered violently, like the desperate dying gasps of a fading flame, casting long, grotesque shadows that writhed and danced in the devouring darkness. The lights took on an eerie sentience, the shadows their sinister puppets performing a dark ballet on the desolate walkways. The horses, once masterpieces of joyous artistry, became grotesque participants in the chilling spectacle. They stirred, breaking free from their static state to move with autonomy that felt unnatural. The painted eyes that once sparkled with innocent delight now glowed with a baleful light, piercing the dark night with their malevolent stare. It was more than movement. It felt as if they were possessed, taken over by a force that was beyond the earthly realm, infusing them with a cruel semblance of life. Their movements were rhythmic, but there was an unsettling discord to the rhythm, the hypnotic creaking like the rasping breaths of a beast harmonized with the haunting melody, creating a chilling symphony of impending doom. Each rise and dip, every creaking turn drew a shiver down your spine, a sinister serenade that amplified the feeling of dread. The gleam on their painted bodies was no longer charming but ghastly, each shimmer a silent scream puncturing the silence. The carousel had transformed into something nightmarish. No longer a place of joy and laughter, it was a trap, a beast lying in wait. The once jubilant carousel had mutated into a terror-inducing predator, prowling in the night for its next unsuspecting victim. The Hellbound Carousel was no longer a ride, it was an embodiment of fear, an eerie entity that reveled in the terror it instilled. From then on, the Hellbound Carousel had a mind of its own. There was a particular ghastly charm to it, an inexplicable allure that seemed to draw people in. It stood in the center of the park, an ominous figure looming in the midst of happy childhood memories. Its once vibrant colors were now faded, chipped away by time and neglect. Its lights, which used to shimmer brightly against the night sky, now pulsated with an eerie, ghostly glow. As the moon cast long, menacing shadows each night, the carousel would spring to life. The formerly still machinery would start humming, its ominous sound growing louder with each passing minute. The horses, once static, would then initiate their nocturnal dance. Up and down, around and around they'd go, spinning and whirling, their hollow eyes gleaming in the darkness. Through the desolate park echoed the chilling laughter of unseen riders. This laughter began as a barely audible whisper, but as the carousel gained speed, the soft laughter escalated into a terrifying crescendo. But it was not alone. The organ of the carousel began to play a haunting tune that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. An increasing number of thrill-seekers, lured by the horrific tales, dared to venture into the park after dark. Each one, eager to uncover the Hellbound Carousel's mystery, would step onto the ride, their faces drained of color, hearts pounding with a strange mixture of excitement and fear. Yet their journey of discovery would end abruptly. As the carousel began its sinister rotation, they would inexplicably vanish into the atmosphere, their horrifying screams echoing through the night. These chilling screams would then abruptly cease, leaving an eerie silence that enveloped the park. This eerie silence that followed each disappearance was almost as terrifying as the screams themselves. It was a silence that seemed to swallow the park whole, a silence that spoke volumes of the victim's horrifying fate. Each scream added a new layer of terror to the ride's haunting symphony, a grotesque reminder of those who had dared to ride the carousel. The park's once joyous atmosphere was now replaced by an insidious sense of dread. The trees rustled ominously, the wind blew colder, and the once inviting park turned into a place of nightmares. So, do you dare to take a ride on the Hellbound Carousel? As the sun rises, the Hellbound Carousel falls silent. Its sinister hum, its ghostly laughter, its haunting tune all cease abruptly, replaced by an unsettling quiet. The horses, once vibrant and alive with movement, stand still, their hollow eyes staring blankly into the morning light. The once joyous amusement park is now a scene of desolation and horror. The morning light reveals a grim sight. The park is littered with the personal effects of the thrill seekers who dared to ride the carousel. Wallets, watches, pieces of clothing, all scattered around, silent testimonies of their terrifying fate. Each item, a chilling reminder of the person it once belonged to, now left behind in the wake of their mysterious disappearance. The carousel's once vibrant figures now bear a more sinister appearance. Their once glossy paint is now stained with a substance that looks suspiciously like dried blood. The eyes of the horses seem to gleam with an even more eerie light in the morning sun, as if they know of the horrors that took place the previous night. The park, once a place of laughter and joy, is now a haunting tableau of the bizarre and the macabre. The chilling melody that once filled the air is now replaced by an eerie silence. The only sound that can be heard is the wind whistling through the trees, as if whispering the horrifying tales of the Hellbound Carousel. The Hellbound Carousel has claimed its victims, and now it waits. It waits for the sun to set, for the moon to rise, for the night to blanket the world in darkness. It waits for the next batch of thrill seekers, for the next scream to add to its grotesque symphony. It waits silent and ominous in the heart of the abandoned amusement park. So, dear listener, do you still dare to take a ride on the Hellbound Carousel?